Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am the Maze Madman. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and the notification bell so you're aware every time I upload a video. Today we are talking Michigan Week 1 Intel, all you need to know going into Week 1. We're talking coaches, we're talking quotes, all of that, including Jim Harbaugh's quote about being suspended 3 games and his quote on NIL and player shared profits with the NCAA, all that, and of course, I'm upset. No disrespect, respectfully, but disrespectfully, it's disrespect. Don't be disrespectful. Those vile, disgusting Spartans, poor little bro them, and I'ma tell them why I'm mad. That vile, disgusting cesspool in Columbus, the other state, and of course, as always, I'm upset. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, in 5 short days, the Michigan Wolverines play football again. In 5 days, the Wolverines will welcome the Pirates of ECU out of the American Athletic Conference to the Big House for a maze out to get blown out, but we will see Michigan football. That is what's most important. 5 short days, and because it's only 5 short days away, we're going to enjoy number 5 here doing his thing while we watch and marvel and wonder what if in 2016. But you know what? We're not going to dwell on that because it's 2023. Michigan, the number 2 team in the country, according to the Associated Press, has expectations, lofty expectations. We're not talking about expectations to beat Lil Bronim. Heck, we're not even talking about expectations to beat the other state anymore. Our expectations are way bigger than that. We're talking about winning that college football playoff, bringing the national title back home where it belongs in Ann Arbor, and representing for the Wolverine. That said, we got some things to talk about. We got some things to clear. Week 1 Intel. Here we go. As we all know, Michigan head coach Jim Harbaugh is suspended for the first 3 games of the regular season. That includes all 3 non-conference games against ECU, UNLV, and Bowling Green. Now, he has already worked out the coaching situation in that time, as defensive coordinator Jesse Minter will be the head man week 1 against ECU, and since offensive coordinator Sharon Moore, offensive coordinator / offensive line coach extraordinaire Sharon Moore, will be suspended game 1 in relation to the Jim Harbaugh suspension. Quarterback coach extraordinaire Kirk Campbell will act as the offensive play caller for week 1 with coach Jesse Minter. That's out the way. That's squared. By the way, in the most Jim Harbaugh way, in the most Jim Harbaugh move of all time, Jim Harbaugh named his father and the strength and conditioning coach Ben Herbert the assistant head coaches for all 3 games that he will miss. That's so Jim Harbaugh. It screams Jim Harbaugh, and I love it. That said, Jesse Minter had some things to say, saying basically that they want to go and prove Jim Harbaugh right for having the trust in them to perform the job that he left them to perform, and that they are playing with the fire in their belly, basically, because they think Jim Harbaugh has been wronged. I think Jim Harbaugh has been wronged. Jim Harbaugh thinks Jim Harbaugh has been wronged. As he said, quote, being suspended these first 3 games feels like a bat to the knees, a baseball bat to the knees. That's a quote from Jim Harbaugh. And Sharon Moore, like I said, will be out game 1. But moving right into week 1. ECU is replacing, not to say that ECU was going to challenge Michigan anyway, but let's talk about with the uphill battle that they will be facing. ECU had to replace their starting quarterback from last year. They had to replace the starting tailback from last year. They had to replace their number one receiver from last year. ECU is a different team, and I would be surprised if ECU scored any more than 9 points in this game. I would be surprised if Michigan scored any less than 45 points in this game. No disrespect to ECU. No disrespect to my guest tomorrow evening, Mr. Clip Brock, legendary radio host out of Carolina. He is the host of Pirate Radio for ECU. He'll be on the show live. We will be live and in living color tomorrow, 6:30. Make sure you tune in. Make sure you got your questions ready for Clip. Clip is a hilarious guy. I've been watching his videos. He's very funny, very entertaining. So make sure you're ready, and we're going to be ready. That said, Clip, if you're listening, it's going to be a long night for ECU this Saturday, September 2nd, in the Big House. Now that we got that out the way, I'd like to take this time to give my thoughts and prayers to the faculty members, family, and friends, and anyone else who was affected by the gun violence today at UNC Chapel Hill. Here at the Maze Madman channel, we'd like to send our condolences to all of those affected. And this sort of thing shouldn't happen, especially on campuses of higher education. That said, politicians are going to politic about this. This isn't the place for it. We move on. Let's get to some lighter news and talk a little bit about Michigan commits and their performances over this past weekend, starting with top 100 quarterback Jaden Davis out of Providence Day School in Charlotte, North Carolina. Davis completed 16 of 19 of his passes for 250 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions in Providence Day's 47-7 victory over Asheville. Top 100 running back and fringe 5-star Jordan Marshall out of Cincinnati, Archbishop Moeller. He had himself another decent game, received only 4 carries, but put up 102 yards and 1 touchdown in a 57-0 blowout over Fort Wayne. 3-star and not for long, trust me, running back Micah Kayapana out of Las Vegas, Bishop Gorman, is the real deal. He had 4 carries, 31 yards, a touchdown in the 60-15 win over Long Beach Poly. He also caught 5 passes for 56 yards, and he wasn't needed for much of the game because this was such a one-sided affair. Michigan 4-star wide receiver commit Amarian Stewart out of Kenwood Academy in Chicago caught an 85-yard touchdown as Kenwood lost to Lincoln Way East 52-12. Brady Priestcorn out of Rochester, Michigan caught the lone offensive touchdown for his team over 2 defenders and also had 2 sacks on the defensive side of the ball. Moving on to some of those offensive linemen that Coach Moore has so meticulously recruited to Michigan, starting with on 300 offensive tackle Andrew Sprague out of Kansas City. He and his team won 31-0. He allowed 0 sacks. On 300 linebacker commit Jeremiah Beasley out of Belleville at Belleville High had himself a day with 5 tackles and a sack in Belleville's 35-28 win over River Rouge. He also rushed for 77 yards and 2 touchdowns, and an instant classic, that 5-star Michigan target in the 2025 class, Bryce Underwood, threw an absolute dart with 7 seconds left to beat River Rouge. Excellent pass, super clutch. He is clearly the best quarterback prospect in 2025. He is clearly, in my opinion, the best prospect in 2025. In Michigan, I have to reiterate this, must, under every circumstance, under any circumstance, land Bryce Underwood. I don't care what it costs. Look, I'm about to say, you know what? I'm not going to go that far. I don't care what it costs. Get it done. Get that young man in Ann Arbor. That being said, it's that time that I must bid you adieu. Thank you again for choosing the Maze Madman channel. Be sure to check me out this Saturday on Bleacher Report's app post game, as I will be talking winners and losers from the game against ECU. Plus, tomorrow I'm live at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with radio legend Clip Brock from Pirate Radio and ECU. We are going to talk about the matchup this weekend. I look forward to seeing you all there. Until next time, stay angry, my friends. I'm upset.
Ladies and gentlemen, this might be our best season ever. My ratings, they're about to go through the roof.
All right, now I'ma calm down. Son. I just don't get that all that mace and that lock, you know that. I just don't get it, son,
okay,
for real.
Just calm
and how the